Like one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round walks on and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. Tis a strange place, this limbo. Not a place, yet name it so.
Sam, it's me, Gilman. Brought a little opium to steady your nerves. Oh, I see you've had a little. More than a little. Well, you'll get no more today.
Perhaps you'd rather stay at home.
Mustn't let William down.
That's the spirit.
William! William! Mr. Wordsworth, sir!
Gentlemen! Gentlemen! You are importunate. The poet must prepare.
Mr. Wordsworth, Mr. Wordsworth! Have you heard from the palace yet?
Coleridge is expected. Well, if he is expected, he won't show. Disappointing expectations is his stock in trade.
Lord Byron, over here. Will your sister be attending, my lord?
I've got to talk to him.
Lank space and scytheless time, with branny hands, barren and soundless as the measuring sands.
Girls, let him be. He's going to make an important speech, not dance the mazurka. Come, Sam.
Not marked by flit of shades, unmeaning they, as moonlight on the dial of the day.
Sir William is to be Poet Laureate. Who could have predicted such a thing?
It is an honor he richly deserves.
Indeed it is. He has done all that a man needs to do to become laureate. Namely, to produce vast acres of exquisite dullness.
Did my ears deceive me, or did he really say exquisite?
Gilman! Gilman! Save me from the storm!
I'm here, Sam. I'm here.
Sir, allow me to kiss the hand that wrote The Mariner.
Who is it?
Lord Byron.
What?
He's a poet, Sam. An admirer.
Do you have any laudanum about you? I have a touch of neuralgia.
There is a poem of yours never yet published, but more talked about than half the poems that are. It describes the pleasure palace at Kubla Khan. I would like to see it published. I could run to £100.
£100 for Kubla Khan. But I couldn't. It's impossible to... It's not finished.
I would have paid Wordsworth twice that sum for his last poem if only he'd left it unfinished.
Kubla Khan was lost years ago.
I was told it never leaves your person. Is it not in this pocket here?
Sam.
William! William, it's the most terrible thing. The opium has cut me loose from time. Sometimes moments seem to freeze and seconds melt as slow as glaciers. Then suddenly I walk through a door and 10 years of my life have gone. My mind is shipwrecked, blown by storms of time. William, please help me. William, shipwrecked! Help me!
Send him away, he's incapable.
He has broken a few glasses, that's all.
What a abominable waste of claret.
Friends, this is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. First mariner of the mind's oceans. Midwife of my own genius. Come, Sam.
Did you say pounds or guineas?
Guineas.
Yeah, I've not been out of Gilman's house these past 8 years. I'm not fit to live with any but my daughter. Call it a moment's work, and such it seems. This tale's a fragment from the life of dreams. But say that years matured the silent strife, and 'tis a record from the dream of life.
A poet and a tireless warrior in the cause of liberty, Citizen Sam Coleridge!
William!
Come, citizen. The powder is ready. Light the fuse.
What?
This is the hour.
I know this day. I seem to know this day. It's a day drunk with hope, is it not?
Day when everything seems possible. France is still at liberty, is she not?
Success to the French!
She is, in fact, the very home of liberty, is she not? And so to make war on France is to make war on liberty itself. On our own liberty. On the liberty of man.
Will he look good dressed up?
Just like this one.
Good, Master.
What do you want?
This government is an enemy of liberty. Here, and in France, and in the slave plantations of the New World. We must end the war in France, and we must end slavery. No war, no slavery. No war, no slavery.
make so great a noise to be heard. Because look, over there is Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh, he's a government spy. Yes, and he takes down everything that we say in his little notebook. So, if you have any grievances you want to tell the state, you tell it to Mr. Walsh over there, and he will tell it to the Prime Minister tomorrow morning over the breakfast kippers. Citizens! Citizens! Soldiers, don't turn your arms on your fellow men! Mutiny!
Sir! Quick, follow me! Come on! Come on, sir!
Citizen. An old trick I learnt in France.
Shh. STC.
Sam.
Here it is. Our place of safety.
Citizen, who's this?
This is William. Citizen William Wordsworth. Behold the banner of the coming insurrection.
Citizen, we have all taken great pains to keep the location of this press secret. And I've never heard of Citizen William.
He saved us from the troops. He was in France during the Revolution.
That means nothing. Queen Marie Antoinette was in France during the Revolution. Does that make her a Democrat?
No, but I am a Democrat. And a poet. And an admirer of the poems of Citizen Coleridge. The Watchman.
Sam, that is Citizen Coleridge. He chose the name. Such a good name. He certainly Red Ragify the slumberous.
Well, what?
Red Ragify. Rouse up. See, the injustices of masculine society have deprived me of vocabulary wealth by limiting my education, so therefore, I make up for it by inventing words of my own. Sam, I mean Citizen Coleridge, I can't fold this all right.
No, that's right. Like that.
Sam, these are ready.
William, come here. Look at these. 10,000 copies printed.
10,000. Will you sell them all, do you think? Or might it not have been more prudent to start with a smaller number and build up the circulation?
Perhaps, but how much better to start with a large number and then build to a colossal one? The truth will fall and strike them like heaven's lightning. Look.
What keeps it up?
Well, the gas is lighter than air, so if you remove the ballast and the restraints, it will fly.
Davy! Gas, citizens, shall be the liberator of mankind. Gas can be used to perform the menial and dangerous tasks now performed by men. Gas to heat our houses, to power our carriages. Imagine a system of pipes crisscrossing the country down which letters can be sent, propelled by gas. A gas for every occasion.
Who will join me?
Sam, you're not going up in it, are you?
I've sent up a dog, a rabbit, and a foal with no ill effects.
Oh, Phil, we'll forbid him the great stuposity. He'll make a carnage of himself.
Are you ready, sir?
Ready, Mr. Davy.
Gentlemen!
Sam?
The ropes, if you please.
Davy, no! Sam!
The truth shall set us free, citizens!
Sam, no! No! Sam! Sam! Sam!
Sarah!
Long live the Republic of the Universe!
He soars while we stand by and wonder.
Sam!
Sam, spread the word, Sam!
Constitution is like a monk preaching fornication.
Are you John Thelwall?
Aye.
Then, sir, you are my prisoner.
Run, sir! Run, sir! No war! No peace! No king! No war! No peace! No king!
Come on, man!
Who?
STC.
Sure he weren't followed?
Quite sure.
Well, one thing is clear. Walsh is frightened.
Frightened of what?
Why, of us. Burning books and presses, desperate measures, death throes of a dying regime.
Why should Walsh be frightened of us? His troops, guns, horses. We have...
Truth. Eternal, invincible, undeniable truth. They may have physical might to crush us, but we can invade and take possession of the most precious territory of all, the hearts and minds of men.
And women?
And women.
This would be by selling them the Watchman.
This would be by lighting a beacon that would shine out to all the world. I have in mind a scheme whereby we would shun the cities and the manufactories and return to a simple, ideal, rural life. We could live together, holding all things in common. We will have chickens and goats and apple trees, and we will make poetry and...
And babies. Shan't we?
Well, I was describing a general spiritual political movement, not my own personal preferences.
And where will it be? This new Eden?
America.
America?
Where the climate is kind and warm. Come on. Come along. Come on. Come on.
Citizen, if we had have gone to America, would it not have been more sunny?
Possibly. But if we had taken land in America, we would have been stealing it from its rightful owners, the Indians, and that's unthinkable, citizen.
Oh, yes, unthinkable.
Although sunnier. You try.
Don't put it down, you stupidity. We can't feed Citizen Pig on scraps because there are no scraps to eat. We eat the scraps. There are only scraps.
I have a scheme.
Of course you have.
If I could sell a series of articles to a right-thinking newspaper describing our life here, that would bring in extra revenue and at the same time spread the joyful news of our victory over greed and emptiness. What is it?
The code of my
You're awake, citizen baby.
I don't care!
My love.
I don't care! You see to him! I'm going to bed!
What's that? Someone with icy fingers painting on our window. Hmm? The frost performs its secret ministry, unhelped by any wind. The owlet's cry came loud, and hark, again, loud as before. I was reared in the great city, pent mid cloisters dim, and saw naught lovely but the sky and stars. But thou, my babe, shalt wander like a breeze, by lakes and sandy shores, beneath the crags of ancient mountain, and beneath the clouds. There's the moon. That's who painted our windows. And look, he's painted your face. There's Venus. And over there, that's Mars.
Sam? What are you doing out here?
Sarah?
Hartley will freeze to death. Come to bed. You look exasperated.
This is the most wonderful time of my life. I wish it was always now and here.
Best so far, maybe. But there's sure to be better times to come.
No, no, no. This is the best.
Maybe one day we'll have a cottage with a fireplace that works.
"'Tis calm indeed, so calm that it disturbs and vexes meditation with its strange and extreme silentness. Sea, hill and wood, this populous village, sea and hill and wood, with all the numberless goings-on of life, inaudible as dreams. My God, it is cold.
I'll warm you up. Getting warmer. Warmer?
Therefore, all seasons shall be sweet to thee, whether the summer clothe the general earth with greenness, or the redbreasts sit and sing betwixt the tufts of snow on the bare branch, or if the secret ministry of frost shall hang them up in silent icicles, quietly shining to the quiet moon. If we put him in his own little kingdom, then he can be the king. There. Help me lift it up. Help me lift it up. Yes. Look. So, we put the newt inside. And there, he's the king of his own little world.
Sam! Strangers! Strangers! There's two strangers in Ashholt this morning. They're asking after you.
The right man! You promised me you'd burn this.
Do their filthy job for them.
Do you know what transport you've thrown in copies of this book?
Go to the back. Go.
was told you were very fine-looking. Indeed, you're quite plain. Too pale. Too scrawny. Still, I will try to see beyond such things, for my brother's sake.
Your brother?
Oh, the cot! Is this the very one from Frost at Midnight?
You know my poems?
My brother thinks them brilliant, prophetic even. I find them narrowly domestic and lacking in ambition.
Do you?
Sam.
William. William! Oh, it's good to see you.
I came as soon as I could. I read about this rural utopia of yours. It was a revelation to me.
You're the brother. This is your sister.
Yes, indeed. This is Dorothy. Dorothy. Dorothy.
Ah, yes.
This is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So, are the others here? Davy, Thelwell, Southey?
Well, no, not yet. Thelwell, as you know, is still in prison. So far, it's Sarah, myself, and the baby. But now you're here, and that's what matters. Sarah, come with me. Here is the garden, where flowers and food grow side by side, spiritual and physical sustenance interpollinating.
It's full of weeds.
Well, yes, the weeds have taken the liberty to grow. Well, it would be unfair to prejudice the soil towards roses and strawberries.
Even his gardening is ambitious. He is building a second Eden.
Well, we're up at 5 to work in the garden. Then I feed the pig and the hens.
This is not prophecy. This is market gardening.
I am sorry, Sam. She's so...
No, she's right.
What's through here?
She's extraordinary. This is the home of my dearest friend.
Fellow poet?
Well, no, he's a tanner. He makes leather. But in his way, the greatest of men. Tom, all's well. Tom! William and Dorothy Wordsworth. Tom Poole, my neighbour and protector. Sarah, my wife. And little Hartley. Never was a more joyous creature born.
Very pretty. Oh, a library.
Oh, yes, it's Poole's library that makes it possible for me to stay here and work in Stowey. He bankrupted himself in the making of it.
Oh, no, no, these books are my wealth. I'll not be accounted poor while I have them.
Look, Dorothy, here's Sam's volume. Poems by S.T. Coleridge. It's very handsome. I like this colour. I like the lettering.
I see you found Sam's volume. Is it not a handsome and posterifying binding?
It is over-decorated. Even William thinks so.
Some have said there's too much spent on the cover, but wait and see. Sam will prove our finest poet since Milton.
I was talking not about the cover, but about the verses within.
Sam's verse?
There is power there, but it is buried in frills and flounces.
These poems were about our life, and our child, and our little cottage.
Exactly. The new Milton should aspire to some more terrific theme, not domesticity. We need epic. We need an epic of nature in the language of liberty.
The language of liberty?
What is she talking about?
Why should not poetry be simple too, plain like the food we eat, so that any man, the simplest, might understand it? Would not that be democratic?
We will create a new poetry, William. Something that's never even been seen before. By God, William and I will do some great work in this library of yours, Tom Poole.
No, not here. You cannot find truth by looking it up in a book. You must follow it up the hill track to the high and lonely places.
The high and lonely places, that is marvellous.
We will make poetry out of our sense of taste and smell and hearing and sight, not from our memory.
If I had the means to hand, I would pulp these volumes now.
Please, Miss Wordsworth, don't excite Sam. His mind is very volatile.
No. Poetry cannot be written at a desk among the dead leaves of a library. It should be walked into birth, to the rhythm of tramping feet and ringing stones.
Why then? I'll make a picnic.
Look, there's even soup, Dorothy. This is wonderful, Sarah.
Smells good.
It's a rich and wholesome smell.
We made this from something that was growing in the garden. Thorn apple. It has very interesting qualities.
Though the taste be somewhat bitter.
Doesn't taste bitter to me. But then I have no sense of taste.
No, surely not.
What, you can't taste anything?
Mm-mm.
Sarah, you're not taking your soup.
Thank you, no. I've tried it once before.
Eggs. I can taste eggs. But that may just be the texture. Well, it's not an egg. I have no idea.
Milky, if you chew it.
Well, what does milk taste like?
Caterpillar, William.
What?
Would you like to try a caterpillar? Eyebrows. Give him a pair of eyebrows.
Oh my God! What's happening to me?
I think William is about to discover the properties of thorn apple.
Oh! 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 Oh!
I will fall into the sky. Three bodies with but one soul.
Together we shall turn the world the right way up.
I can't carry Hartley and the hamper.
I'm sure she would make the perfect wife for someone, only not for him. He's like a marvellous bird, tethered to a huge sea anchor. But how can he write when he has to answer to her every call?
And yet he writes about her wonderfully well. The poem about the frost and the baby, no one has written so intimately before.
It's nothing. Beautifully expressed. But really, a baby cries in the night, the father comes down to comfort it. Anyone can experience such things.
We never did.
The soul does not live by nursing babies.
But surely it does. And Mrs. Coleridge, does she not strike you as the poetic embodiment of the very idea of woman?
Why? Because her breasts are dripping milk all day? Because that mewling infant is always at her hip? Must a woman be like a farmyard animal? Can she have no ambition, no intelligence, no organic sensibility?
We will light a candle in this window, which shall shine out to a far distance, sending its echoes back from the future.
How long are they staying?
Don't know.
I love your poem about the frost, Sam.
I know you do.
You're not really going to pulp those volumes, are you?
No, of course not.
Is this it? It was so clever of you, Mr. Poole, to find it. Here we'll live in honest simplicity.
We could all live in honest simplicity if we had palaces to do it in.
Davy sent this to welcome you to your new home. We should give it a fair trial. I believe that you turn the tap and then breathe and inhale.
Well, I'm not so sure, Sam. It could be something dangerous or unhealthy.
Oh, we must try everything.
Oh, no, Dorothy. Let me first, for safety's sake. I feel no change.
Perhaps you have to wait for it to reach the brain.
No, no different. Will wear off.
Of course it will. William, do some poetry, some Milton. Do some Milton.
I will not.
Then I will.
Nor did he escape by all his engines, but was headlong sent with industrious crew to build in hell at Pandemonium, the high capital of Satan and his spears.
Ah, Wordsworth, is it? How do you do? I'm Holland, the pastor hereabout. I'm glad to meet you. It's a friendly enough place. The men here are stout and true and ready to give their last breath should the damn French invade. Do you hunt, Wordsworth? Pity. Oh, Coleridge, I didn't know you knew our new tenant.
William and Sam are old friends.
Is that so? Well, I bid you farewell.
Goodbye. Very nice to meet you.
Goodbye, Mrs. Wordsworth.
Oh, it's Miss, not Mrs. William and I are brother and sister.
Goodbye, Mrs. Wordsworth. Notice anything strange, Amelia?
Was it their voices, Father?
Their voices, exactly. Unusual voices. Now, what do you think? Do you think they could be foreign? French, even?
The Dark Lady was not wearing any shoes, Father.
No shoes, funny voices. They must be French.
And Sam, what about the beginning?
We'll follow the course of the river from the first mountain, springing over the barren moorland,
Skirting the first shepherd's cut,
leaping over cataracts and torrents, down into fertile valleys,
winding through the towns and farmyards,
and out to sea.
It's all right, William. You go on.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Dorothy, come here and listen.
What is it?
It's an underground waterfall. Not 100 feet below us, yet no human eye has ever seen it. I heard it first as a boy, and I imagined underground caverns and sunless seas. In fact, the stream emerges just below that bush down there.
Let's listen. was right. You are very fine looking. Voice like honey. The animation of your face like cloud shadows chased across bright fells. Your skin is not too pale at all, but lovely. Moonlight coloured.
You've missed the way. The source of the river is down there, just below that bush. Come along, Dorothy. We'll observe the river on its own terms. Drink from it, listen to it, measure its speed.
Is there something wrong, William?
13, 14. Why do you cling to him so?
Cling to? To our friend. Because he's a great spirit. Because I am.
You're a great distraction. As if you were not distracted enough. We came here to write poetry, to ignite a revolution of the mind, not to canoodle on a hillock.
Canoodle?
Oh, now look, I've lost count.
What are they at now?
Writing poetry.
Well, he's measuring something. They're compiling some sort of map to assist the enemy.
11, 12.
I shall write to the government. They should send a man down here to keep an eye on them.
There's a gentleman outside, sir, who insists he knows you.
John? John! What have they done to you?
Farewell. I'm afraid my handshaking days ended in the tower.
Good God.
You have grown such pleasing, huge breasts, Sarah.
You ought not to say such things.
Well, it is nature. We're all for nature, are we not?
It's the breastfeeding. Makes them swell up.
A toast, then, to breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding. Breastfeeding.
We're working on a book together. Well, William and Sam are working on a book together.
How, do you write one line and he the next, or what?
We've scarce begun to write yet.
We're still gathering material.
The poetry will be simple. It should appear almost not written at all, but discovered.
Like Davy's gases.
And when we publish, it should be anonymously.
What?
I wasn't aware.
I've only just thought of it. It should walk away from the poet, out into the world an orphan, adopted by every heart that hears it.
But surely Sam is famous. His name would bring in readers.
No, this is brilliant. Anonymous. Like Homer. Like the hills and clouds themselves.
As long as Anonymous doesn't collect the fee.
Citizens, is it not craven to be sitting here in the second-best dining room whilst in our midst sits one of the great revolutionaries, a man who has been kept in the tower with murderers and villains, without books or light or exercise and without reason? I propose that we invade the best dining room. Jones, the keys.
I don't know, sir.
The keys or the guillotine, Jones?
Well, I'm not sure the terms of the lease are quite stringent.
Revolution, William. Revolution in Alfoxden! Come along! Follow me! Sarah to the plate!
And the bottles! Don't forget the bottles!
Storm the table linen!
Liberate the pottery!
Unchain the wine cellar!
Free the oil paintings!
Welcome to the revolution, Citizen Jones. There shall be no servant and no master at Alfoxden.
Look at the silver!
We need wine, the finest wine!
Overthrow the cigar cabinet!
Dorothy, you go first.
No, you. No, I will. I have strong feelings for you. The most strong and tender feelings.
Dorothy.
They must only ever be expressed in the realm of poetry. I cannot do anything that would unsettle your great enterprise, your gift. Our caresses must only be in imagination.
Dorothy.
I care not that she has your body, your love, your children, so that I have your secret soaring soul. She may keep your walking, so that I have your flying.
Material for your poems. I've thought of some. A friend of Davy's lives near here, goes by the name of Cross, experiments with electricity. There's got to be a poem in that. What do you think?
Yes. Brilliant.
Did you make this lightning, Mr. Cross?
The atmospheric power of the storm is conducted by these wires into the higher sphere, where it is held and concentrated. And then the lower sphere attracts that power and calls it forth as indoor lightning.
But this is the very image of ourselves.
Sam is the electricity, a force of nature waiting to be tapped. And William is the sheet anchor, grounding us to the earth.
And Dorothy is like the spheres, bringing us both together and then holding us in balance until that moment of inspiration.
What about me?
Well, you are the sturdy table on which we all rest.
I don't like it. Speak more flatteringly, citizen.
Well, the table has good legs. So do you.
Over here, we have something truly astonishing. Perhaps the answer to the mystery of life itself.
They lie in bed till noon almost. That's a Frenchy way, isn't it, Mr. Walsh?
Wordsworth was in France. Reverend Holland did right to send for me, Jones.
There's Mrs. Coleridge now, look, running out. Sarah!
And good God, that is Thelwall. There's some scheme afoot, I'm sure.
I believe that electricity is the original power, the spark that lit creation's flame. And I believe that I can now offer proof of this. In there, we have a solution of flint and potassium carbonate through which I have been passing a current over a period of time. I was hoping to find silicon crystals. Instead, I found these. I repeated the experiment with the same result. It is a species of might. It is not a species that has been previously recorded.
Are you saying it is a new creation?
There was no life. Then there was life.
This must be the most astounding discovery of all time. I feel as though we've been present at the unveiling of a great mystery. An unshakable bond must have been forged between all of us.
It's only a cheese, mate. It's not as if he created a fully grown doctor of philosophy or a strapping great ploughboy.
It's beside the point. He's created life from nothing. He's taken the place of God.
There were very likely eggs in the solution.
Twice?
Well, the eggs may have fallen into the solution from Cross's hair. He's not the cleanest man I've ever met. He may well have developed his own species of parasite.
You're determined not to believe.
I've seen new life. I was there when our child was born. It's not a question of nits in water. You'll understand when your time comes, Dorothy.
I wish you hadn't said that, Sam.
Good night.
You're back earlier than expected.
Yes. Yes, I'm back.
Sam! Look! I found a phallus impudicus.
Wordsworth. He doesn't say very much, does he?
He'll surprise us all. You'll see.
Sam.
He will have to go.
What? Why?
We are being spied upon. Walsh is here. I've seen him. Thelwell is the reason. He will have to go.
Go? Go where? He has nowhere to go.
His presence compromises our project.
How?
The world has changed, Sam. We are making new poetry for a new world. Thelwell's old politics cling like barnacles to our new ship. I think it would be best if you were to ask him.
I ask him?
Well, he's your guest.
I can't. I can't ask him.
Then there is no point in my staying here any longer.
I wish you and William luck with your book.
Thank you.
I hope it's a great book.
His presence was distracting to William.
Distracting from what? William has done nothing. Said nothing. The gatepost would be more companionish and inspirational.
He helps me to think. His mind runs clear and deep.
William has said nothing. Done nothing. Neither have you.
Sarah, William and I to write our epic. We've found our theme.
Another one?
This one will be finished.
Published within a week.
Sensation of London within a month.
The Wanderings of Cain. We will tell the story of two brothers, one who betrays the other, and it will be dark and splendid and terrifying, and it will make our fortunes. William is to write the first part, myself the second, and together we shall write the third. And to make sure that we do finish it, the whole thing will be done in one night. Tonight.
You'll want tea then?
I think I'm beginning a toothache. Perhaps another night.
Yeah. Take some laudanum. That'll soon get rid of it. You're supposed to take a thimbleful. Sam? Sam? Sam! Come on. Sam! I'll fetch some water.
Did we finish? William, let me see. What? Nothing?
One morn, we walked out on our dry walk. Our quiet house in full view, and held our intermitted talk as we were wont to do. Without him here to inspire me, it's all just so much geography. Have you ever taken opium, Dorothy?
Only for toothache.
I never wrote a line.
When?
In Sam's house, that night. It isn't true that we wrote Cain. He wrote it. I wrote nothing. The page glared at me. I no sooner picked up the pen than I was sweating. Why could I not write, Dorothy? Why could I not write? Oh. He has such velocity. I'm afraid to write in front of him.
You are afraid to pick up the pen. Very well, I will pick it up for you. You need only to talk. You're not afraid of talking.
I wandered lonely as a cow.
Perhaps cloud would be better, William.
Evening.
Evening, sir.
They live by what they can catch. They have to walk out across the mudflats to place their nets, like creatures from a primordial swamp. We could make a poem about this, Sam. About the hardships of England's estuary fishermen. Brendan, I brought someone to see you.
Dripping with Chowdhull's blood and pieces of his flesh.
They say the more you tell it, the more it'll go away. Somehow, to me, it just sticks there. I keep having it.
What is it?
I have this dream about a ship. It comes in over the bar, over there. Full rigging. Comes in fast. Only there's no crew aboard. Only dead men. A whole crowd of them.
What does it mean? What do you think it means?
They say it tokens some great wrong I've done. I don't know. I stole another man's Elver bucket once. Some time ago, though. We're good with that. Ah! Oh, that's all right, sir. They're only Elvers. That's what we're here for.
The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into that silent sea. Slimy things. I saw the slimy things that were crawling up my legs.
Elvers. Yes. They're sold to make elver cheese, but the whole eel fetches a better price. The fishermen of the estuary have always to calculate the possibility of present gain with that of long-term loss if too many elvers are taken.
Slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. And listen, we had not the sight of one fish or bird except a disconsolate albatross. Hatley, observing that the bird was always hovering near us, imagined it was some ill omen and shot it.
Sam, albatrosses have nothing to do with eel fishing. This is another distraction.
To shoot a bird of ill omen is nothing. To shoot a bird of good omen. Imagine, because of the storm, the mariner murders the albatross. Straight away, the ship is becalmed, but then the sun beats down relentlessly, and all the crew die of thirst and fever. All except the one who killed the bird.
And then what?
We must go.
Sam!
No, Sam. This was safe. Sam!
Now the storm blast came, and he was tyrannous and strong. He struck with his o'ertaking wings and chased us south along. And now there came both mist and snow, and it grew wondrous cold. And ice, mast high, came floating by, as green as emerald. The ice was here, the ice was there, the ice was all around. It cracked and growled and roared and howled like noises in a swound. At length did cross an albatross, and through the fog it came. God save the ancient mariner from the fiends that plague thee thus. Why look'st thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross.
And I had done a hellish thing, and it would work and woe. For all averred, I had killed the bird.
If the ancient mariner has simply killed a bird, why is he punished so severely? Why do all the other crew members have to die? It's just a bird, after all.
He's broken his bond with nature. It's a kind of parable. Man is tied to nature. If he cuts that tie, then the result is chaos.
In my darkness and my dreams, I'm drawn to the power of these images. But they seem to shrink in the daylight of my reason and my faith.
Then extinguish that light. Just for a time.
What happens after he's becalmed?
you rescued?
I don't know. I don't know. Day after day, day after day, we stuck, nor breath, nor motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. The very deep did rot. Oh Christ, that this should come to be. Yea, slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. Instead of the cross, the albatross about my neck was hung.
Sarah, please. Please help me.
You're not to see him. He's taken bad. He must be left alone.
Please. Ah, Sarah!
Sam! Samuel Bones! Samuel! Dorothy! Sam!
Man, a mariner's lost upon the ocean. I don't know how to bring him back. He killed the bird. All of nature conspires against him. I can see him. I can see him. I can see him on the ship with the dead men in the dead water.
We'll bring him back. Listen. Shh. He looks at the sea. There is something, some fish, some beauty of nature. He blesses it. The moment he does so, he's free. The albatross falls from his neck and sinks into the sea. And then he sleeps. Beyond the shadow of the ship, I watched the water snakes, blue, glossy green and velvet black. They coiled and swam, and every track was a flash of golden fire, a spring of love,
gushed from my heart and I blessed them unaware.
Astonishing.
That was my suggestion. The self-same moment I could pray, and from my neck so free the albatross fell off and sank like lead into the sea.
William? He said we would work together. I've written nothing and he writes this. It's huge. It's a book in itself. Where is my place?
William. William.
Feed him with ideas and images, but I go hungry. I have felt a presence that uplifts me with the joy of elevated thoughts. A sense sublime of something far more wonderful.
William, with regard to what happened yesterday.
Uplifts is wrong, something less certain.
Disturbed.
Disturbs, precisely.
With regard to what
I
happened
have
between
felt a
us
presence that
last night.
disturbs me with the joy of elevated thoughts. No, not thoughts, thought.
Thought is too philosophical. Thoughts is more personal.
Good, Dorothy.
I have
very
something
good.
that I wish to
A
say.
sense sublime of something far more...
Far deeper.
Deeper. Deeper, deeply interfused. Yes, this is better. A sense sublime of something far more deeply interfused, whose dwelling is the setting of the suns and the round ocean and the living air. For thou art with me, here upon the banks of this fair river.
Thou? Who? There wasn't a thou in the poem before, William.
Thou, my dearest friend.
Sam.
My dear, dear friend. And in thy voice I catch the language of my former heart and read my former pleasures in the shooting lights of thy wild eyes. Oh, yet a little while may I behold in thee what I was once. My dear, dear sister.
Thou is me.
Yes, of course. Turn. The sounding cataract haunted me like a passion. The tall rock, the mountain, and the deep and gloomy wood, their colours and their forms were then to me an appetite, a feeling and a love that had no need of a remoter charm.
Sam. Sam, don't. It's destroying you.
For I have learned to look on nature not as in the hour of thoughtless youth, but hearing, oftentimes, the still, sad music of humanity.
It's here. What? Your book, Sam. The lyrical ballads.
No, I haven't finished it, can't it, Diego?
It is. Oh, William, I nearly forgot. It's a letter here for you.
Just say it in print. William,
Has it come? Has it come?
The Mariner takes pride of place in the front here, look.
We must celebrate.
To publish anonymously was a masterstroke. Everyone is speculating as to who authored these poems. Some have even gone so far as to wager money on the question.
I wonder if they do think it's us.
So many, William. You have written so many. I am pleased to be proved right like this. Sarah, look, your silent gatepost has spoken and spoken and spoken. We've done it. William, we've done it.
What do people say?
The whole of London is talking about it. There have been requests already for a second volume.
A second volume? Well, I have a notion for another ballad in 5 acts.
5 acts? It will be tremendous. Better than The Mariner.
Nothing could be better than The Mariner.
The lyrical ballads. To you, Sam.
The lyrical ballads.
William? Where's it from?
No one from Salvi. Some observations he made for me. Well, perhaps Sam's next poem will be better even than The Mariner. Perhaps the second volume should be written entirely by Sam.
You're being silly.
We have benefited a great deal from Sam.
Yes, William.
But it
indeed,
may be
truly,
that we have learned all he has to teach us. We should go, Dorothy. We should return to the happy land of our childhood.
And leave him behind.
Yes, of course, leave him behind. What of it? He is married. He has his wife, his child, his baby.
My big brother used to read me this. Your Uncle Frank. When I could not sleep. He went away to India. Maybe he saw these great cities. Lost cities. Ancient ruins. Look. Xanadu. 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 Xanadu.
Coleridge? Mr. Coleridge? What's happened to him?
Whatever whatever it is, I'm sure it's his own doing. Come.
But, Father, we must help him. Are you all right?
I'm all right. I will be all right. I must have some ink. And a desk. I must write it down. I've seen it. I've seen it. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf the sacred river ran, through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea.
Sarah was concerned when you didn't come home. I met the Hollands on my way from Porlock. What you writing?
A dream. Remembered in a dream of Kubla Khan.
May I see?
No, it's... Let's not read it.
I see.
It will be ready soon. Ready for you to see, that is. I value your opinion always.
William! It's gone! It's gone! William! I can't see it anymore! William! 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 It's all there in front of me. Did I say anything to you? A note, a phrase, anything? William!
And so I dare to hope. Though changed, no doubt, from what I was when first I came among these hills, when like a roe I bounded o'er the mountains, by the sides of the deep rivers and the lonely streams, wherever nature led, more like a man flying from something that he dreads than one who sought the thing he loved.
We should stock up on firewood. It's sure to be freezing when we get to the house.
Oh, there will be someone there already. I have engaged someone.
Oh, William, it's pretty and modest. We'll be well hidden here.
Dorothy, this is Mary. Mary, this is my sister, Dorothy.
Fire's blazing prettily. You've done very well. Our bags are just there.
Bring them in, then, if you're to stay. Is she to stay?
Yes, yes. Indeed, yes. Well, perhaps I have not made myself clear enough. Mary and I are engaged. To be married. Thanks.
Northumberland? Do you have to follow in his every footprint?
He steadies me. If I'm left on my own, my thoughts, they just crowd each other to death.
You were a great poet before you ever even heard of William. No, Sam. No. No. No, 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 no.
Here it is. Palace of the Four Winds. Look, Hartley. Look, the great big giant has sort of pitched his tent right outside our house. Here. There's so much space. There's so little rent.
How are we going to heat it?
It'll be fine. Look, now that you're safely here, I shall go and tell William.
Sam!
I'll be back!
Sam!
I walked here as a boy. This whole vale swarms with sensation.
William! William!
Is that him?
Dorothy! Dorothy, you were right. This place is... Madam, I'm sorry. I mistook you. I was sure you...
Sam, this is Mary. My future bride.
Good heavens. I had no idea.
We must press on or we shall miss the best of the day.
My next poem will be in the manner of your piece about the frost. Quiet and domestic, but far greater in scope. The whole story of the formation of my poetic spirit. Mary is to help me.
Look, William, look, he's here!
Who is?
Walsh! Look, William, look!
I see no one.
What?
Trigger the light.
You never saw it? Ah! Am I losing my wits?
Where have you been? 3 days without word. Sarah's at her wit's end.
Southey?
Edith and I have come to live with you. Remember all that communion of like minds palaver? Well, this is it. Sarah asked us. I hope you've no objection.
What? Here? In this house?
Well, I'm here. I'm here to help you conquer your addictions. No, Sam, you really must forswear the opium. Its long-term effects are unknown. Sit you down. There we are. You might try this. Davy gave it to me. It's nitrous oxide. I take a lungful every morning. It's enough to give you a taste of exaltation, but it does not create dependency. That's it, old man. The laughter itself is therapeutic, of course, but it does... it exercises the lungs.
It's not the opium, Sammy. It's my mind. I spend each day trying not to think.
Your friend, Sam. Do you think it wise to make public his involvement in the ballots?
What do you mean?
He's deranged. Might it not bring our work into some disrepute?
For the second edition.
Lyrical ballads by William Wordsworth.
There's a nice ring to it. Sounds very well, Mary.
We are making a classroom here. Sarah is to teach your children and mine. And by way of wages, I shall pay the rent. So you have no worries, old man. Just get yourself better.
Selby, did you write this?
Well, yes, I did. It's for the children.
It is sublime. It will live forever. When all our names are forgotten, these few pages will be remembered. They will always be remembered. When I am dead, when all my words are dust.
What is it, Robert? What have you written?
A story. Just a story for the children. It's called The Three Bears.
Sam! Come in. Out of the room. Come on. Happy to see you.
Where's William?
He's inside. He's writing with Mary. They're best not to be disturbed. You're soaked. Come by the fire. Take your jacket off.
I ran. I ran all the way. No, Dorothy, no, please.
Come, this is wonderful, Sam. We can send this to the publisher.
No, it's not finished yet.
Oh, what does that matter? The Iliad isn't finished. Are the ruins of Tinton Abbey any less lovely for their lack of completion? Is creation ever finished?
Well, no,
I thought you were lost. You're back. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedarn cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as air beneath a waning moon was haunted by a woman wailing for her demon lover. And
Is something wrong?
not wrong, no, it's just so beautiful. There are lines here, observations I made myself. His garden at Stowey, the underground waterfall, all touched by his alchemy. Sorry, William, it's just... It's very hard to think that this archangel is blazing yet somewhere inside our friend.
Very different from your work, William.
Yes.
Prefer yours, William.
Thank you, Mary. What about you, Dorothy? Do you prefer his method or mine?
The method? No. Method is self-destruction. It's too high a price.
Our methods are in opposition. It is impossible to approve of both. It is not even finished. We must reject it.
Reject? How can we reject it? He has worked so hard. He's all but destroyed himself.
I think it would be best if you were to tell him. I intend to work late and to sleep late.
But William...
Not now, Dorothy.
Poets must work.
upon a time there were 3 bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear. They had each a pot for their porridge. They had each a pot for their porridge. A little pot for the little small wee bear, and a middle-sized pot for the middle bear, and a great pot for the great huge bear.
What's going on? Sam! Sam! Where are you going?
It has been decided that the tone of Kubla Khan is at odds with the rest of the volume. Its presence would be an intercalation of heterogeneous matter. You are requested, therefore, to remove it. I will myself bear the expense involved in resetting the type.
Dr. Gilman has made a great study of the effects of it. Sam, opium is not your worst addiction. Your worst addiction is to Wordsworth. You will not recover until you put some distance between yourself and that vampire. Come on, old man.
What sin have I not committed for the one filthy trick of opium?
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I was just making an experiment with Newton's theories on gravity.
For God's sake, Sam.
Byron would pay £100 for Kubla Khan. If I could get that, it would make up for a great deal. And I should like to put things right with Sarah.
£100. It is a very small price at which to sell your reputation, surely. You are still regarded as a great critic. The first to explain my own poetry. If you were to publish this. Ridicule, Sam. Ridicule.
Are you sure? Perhaps the poem is not as bad as you think. Dorothy spoke very highly of it.
Dorothy. Shall we ask Dorothy what she thinks, then?
Dorothy.
she here?
Dorothy, here is Sam, come to ask your opinion about a poem of his.
Dorothy.
Hinges and brackets and nails are all sorts.
Would you like to show her your manuscript?
How did this happen?
Opium, Sam. This is the end of the road to which Kubla Khan is the gateway.
Not that. No.
This is your pleasure dome. If you were to truly end your addiction, then the destruction of its fruits might be a worthy gesture.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, the King's messenger.
The poet is over here.
Mr. Southey. Mr. Robert Southey.
Oh, indeed, no, but he's here.
Here? I'm here.
Laureate. I'm to be made poet laureate.
You are.
Is it Southey or Southey?
It's Southey. Rhymes with mouthy.
I'm sorry, this is so unexpected. I really can't think of anything to say. Well, the moment is so beautiful.
You promised me. You swore!
A government post, I said. I never mentioned the laureate. What do you want that for, anyway? There's no money in it. This one pays handsome.
What are you talking about?
Distributor of postage stamps for the county of Westmoreland.
Stamps!
William, I have ruined your day of days.
30 guineas per annum. You'll never have to write poetry again.
Kindly leave us, Sam. This is a private matter.
You.
Sam, go away.
You. And him. For how long?
Mr. Wordsworth and I go way back.
No war! No peace! No peace! No war! No peace! No peace!
Shh, it's all right. It's all right, darling.
was looking for something, but I can't find it. It's lost. You have been our destruction.
Opium has been your destruction, Sam.
You took my best work from me and put your name to it. You did the same to Dorothy. And then you abandoned her as you abandoned me. You left us with nothing! You are the mistake of a lifetime! It is my intention, with the help of Lord Byron, to publish Kubla Khan.
The poem is destroyed, Sam. I tried to stop him, but...
You were afraid of it. That's why you made me burn it. You burned it.
And William, you stood by while he did so.
I despised it and everything it stood for.
Wordsworth, not content with spoiling virgin pages with his feeble nib, has connived in the destruction of one of the lost treasures of English verse. Go on, William. Do the daffodils. I wondered lonely as a... What was it? Shh.
Enough.
The language of liberty, Sam.
In Xanadu, did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure-dome decree. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure-dome decree. Did Kubla Khan a stately... Oh. Where Alf the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man down to a sunless sea. And so twice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers were girdled round. And here were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree. And here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm that slanted down the green hill athwart a cedarn cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as air beneath a waning moon was haunted by woman wailing for her demon lover.
And from this chasm, with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift half-intermitted burst huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks at once and ever it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with a mazy motion, through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns, measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight would win me that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware. His flashing eyes, his floating hair, weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise.